What is up, guys? My name is Kieran and this is the best of the web. So in our first story of today, we're going to go all the way back to the ancient times of 2002. Do you remember those crazy, scary times when everyone was just starting up their MySpace profile? YouTube hadn't even been invented yet. George Bush still looked like a hopeful new president who was going to fix everything. And a 60-year-old man in England challenged a court fine of £25 for a parking fee with an offer to duel the English driving agency's best candidate in a fight to the death with, quote, samurai swords, Gurkha knives, or heavy hammers. Now apparently the man was attempting to invoke an ancient medieval law in England that he believed to still be technically valid, but alas the DVLA did not respond with a worthy candidate to duel this man, and so whilst their money was collected, their honour was destroyed on that day. I'm ashamed to live in a country that would not throw forth a government worker to fight a 60-year-old man with a Gurkha knife. When is the next ticket to Kazakhstan? I'm out of this place. But moving on, you know somewhere I really wouldn't want to be? Salem in the US. Not because they had those crazy witch trials back in the day, but because I really love yard sales. And there's a weird old law in Salem which restricts each resident's right to only have 3 yard sales a year. And you might be thinking, yeah, but they're not really gonna enforce that, are they? Oh, you would be surprised how dedicated to the law Salem really are. Because when Jan Klein, a bone cancer patient, attempted to start a yard sale in her yard, a neighbour informed the government in the local governing body, I don't know what it is, and was like, yo, this crazy fool's done at least like 5 yard sales this year. And the woman who was trying to raise money to pay for her treatment, which would stop her from, you know, dying, was charged with a $300 fine. So round of applause Salem for being nominated as my biggest scumbags of the day. So you know when you should realise that your country is a little bit insane? When your sports officials have an established protocol for if someone turns up with a gun and starts shooting at the stadium you are playing at. Alright, you got me. Of course I'm talking about Mexico. Because match officials in a Mexican football, that's soccer for any Americans, match had to abandon a game after 40 minutes because 3 armed trucks turned up with guns and stuff. And although a lot of people are going to try pin these problems on what's happening in Mexico right now, drug cartels selling millions of dollars of drugs to other countries, I'm going to guess that it was Americans behind this. Because the amount of times I hear Americans complain about how low the scoring is in soccer games, I think the Mexican officials just snapped, oh, 40 minutes without a goal, yeah, bring the guns in. So, don't you think it's still time for the dancing midgets to entertain them? No, I want Jeeps with guns now. John and Jane Smith in Rosie, seat 59, look pretty pissed off right now. And yeah, I would have done that dialogue in a Mexican accent, but my Mexican accent is probably the most offensive thing in the entire world. Oh, that's made you want to hear it more now, hasn't it? Well, I guess that... No, Mr. Griffin. See what I mean? I don't know how one thing can be so incredibly inaccurate and bad, and so oh, I'm flipping you off. And so offensive at the same time. It's just one of my many talents. But in our final story of today, I do joke about sometimes with problems in Mexico. I know Libya has recently had a conflict, you know, people dying, but we do need to seriously think about the really worst off people in the world sometimes, which is why the Huffington Post has run an article saying who had it worse off, Daniel Radcliffe or Rob Pattinson. Because yeah, that's who we really need to feel sorry for. You know, the Horn of Africa is going through a famine, thousands upon thousands of people dying, but Rob Pattinson had some pretty mean stuff written about him, which is all completely fair. He's a terrible actor. Daniel Radcliffe came out and said, you know, I had time to transition into the media. You know, the films, they grew in popularity. I was shielded from a lot of it because I was a child. Rob became one of the most famous people in the world overnight. Yeah, no, I feel terrible. I heard that once Rob stubbed his toe on his Lamborghini. Yeah, I know, he once slipped up on his kitchen floor as well because the diamonds were cut too cleanly. And once, hordes of screaming girls all lusting after him caused him slight earache. But really, Huffington Post, I would rather watch Twilight New Moon while having my skin ripped apart by thousands of tiny little versions of Kristen Stewart than hear about the problems of Rob Pattinson and Daniel Radcliffe being just oh so famous. Oh, and before we go, I probably should mention that Kim Kardashian got married, and can you hear that wondrous noise? Yeah, that's the sound of no one caring. But anywho guys, that's all for today. If you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And there's always that subscribe button that you can press if you want more. And I will leave you with a challenge. Someone caption this photo. And perhaps if I get any really funny ones, I'll put them up in the next video. Links to all the shiznay that we've talked about is in the description, along with that picture full size, so you can look at it and stir the funniness inside of you. But that is the end of the longest outro in the world, and until next time, that is me,